mission accomplished. I was about to say that I feel like I have. I don't know if girls go through this with longer hair. Your haircuts might be different, but because my hair is shorter, sometimes I'll get like hair on my shoulders or on like the collar of my shirt, and it like sticks in there, and it's so itchy. And it's just like, yeah.
My hair's long enough to be, I think, like
with long hair, yeah.
Yeah, silky instead of pointy, stabby.
Yeah.
Does that
Stabby.
track?
Yeah.
It's
very
just
stabby.
porcupine hair.
It's amazing though, just what the like smallest amount of discomfort will do.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, having that or having like an ingrown hair is just the worst thing. But it's just one hair. That's it. It's just like how does something that small?
We're made so efficiently as humans. Like the tiniest, the barely see it with the naked eye. It takes us down. Like an Achilles heel.
Exactly.
It's smaller than a heel, and the heels don't actually do it.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 57 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. My name is Kyle Springer. I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson.
Yes.
What is going on, Melissa?
Kyle, I want to tell you that this week a friend and I went out to enjoy a nice steak dinner.
Oh.
Well, it was at a steakhouse. None of us got steak.
So you went to go get steaks at a steakhouse and didn't get steaks.
We enjoy eating out. We went to a Longhorn Steakhouse. I don't know if they have those all across the country or if it's a Midwestern thing.
It sounds like a chain, but I don't know.
Yes.
I've been to like Logan's Roadhouse and stuff like that, which I think is same kind of thing. I don't know.
There's Texas Roadhouse. There's Logan's Run. Finally, they put them together.
The best of both worlds.
Sci-fi Dystopian Steakhouse.
Oh, yo, I would go there.
Oh my god, I need somebody to take an old Ponderosa and turn it into a pop-up restaurant like this.
That would be amazing.
But in sci-fi dystopia, there's no way you're still eating steak, though. It's like steak pills.
Well, yeah, you could have that version, or it's like they pretend that you are a robot and you are eating humans or something, or you're like an alien species.
Oh, a to-serve man themed restaurant.
There you go.
I love this.
There you go. All of the staff looks like the big aliens with the big heads. That would be amazing.
Dang, I gotta have a to-serve man dinner party sometime.
That would be awesome.
This is good. Okay.
That would be awesome.
But we were at the steakhouse. No, and there's a sign on the table that says, it's a couple weeks old at this point, but you could take home a set of our very own steakhouse knives, take it home to your dad for Father's Day. And my friend looks at these knives and she says, speaking of knives, I thought you guys were going to record a captain's log this week. Is it coming out late? Like, what? And she's like, looking at knives just makes me think of Kyle.
That's what I was thinking as you were saying that. It was like, I was like, I somehow this is gonna go back to the story that my dad bought those 200 knives.
200 knives for a family of 3.
He wanted to sell them as Father's Day gift. Like, see, like the restaurant knows what's up.
It stole
My
his
dad
idea.
was not wrong. Vindication.
Yeah, she's like, I just associate him and knives and chilies.
Yeah. So I saw the first thing you have written down on our like list of possible things is you are knives.
You are.
And I didn't know what that was in reference to, and so it's just without any context, my mind immediately went to is like, I think she's comparing me to knives from Scott Pilgrim.
No, I can capitalize that. She's a
And
proper noun.
I mean, yeah, but this is just like notes in the background. This isn't an academic research paper, Melissa.
Oh, you
I,
wound
I,
me with your
whenever
knives.
I tweet out about the captain's log, I rarely ever put the apostrophe. It just like captains as plural, not possessive, if that makes sense. I used to do it plural possessive when we first started it.
Yes.
Because we are both the captains. So it is the captain's log.
Yes.
And that was a bad look.
It's a little too highfalutin, I think.
Yeah. I'm
Put that
gonna be
apostrophe up
scratching
there.
my neck the entire time.
Can I just say, you're wearing a full hoodie for the listener.
I am, yes.
Hoodie on July 5th.
I had the 4th and the 5th off. I mean, yes, July
lucky.
4th. So I'm like halfway through a 4-day weekend.
Okay.
And so I don't think I've gone outside other than to like put things in the recycling bin, which is just on our porch, like just empty beer cans or soda cans, stuff like that. So I've just been chilling inside, being a lazy bum.
I guess so.
And that's what I do. I am in sweatpants and a hoodie.
I can't fathom these. I do not like time off with nothing to do. I have a lot of vacation time they give me at work, and I don't take it because I'm like, where would I go? What would I do? Nobody needs me more than you guys need me, so I'm just gonna stay here.
So you often like going to check out different neighborhoods and houses and stuff like that.
I love to be out and about.
Besides that, what would you do just to go on an adventure? If you were in my position where you had 4 days off and maybe you spent the first half of that in bed binge watching TV shows and you're getting a little bit stir crazy, what would you go do?
Am I me or am I you? Do I have a car is the question, or do I have to take the Richmond, Virginia bus system?
What would you do?
What would I do? I would...
What is an adventure for Melissa? Because I have a plan for tomorrow that I will share. It's not much of an adventure, but...
I like to go to a mall I rarely go to and walk around and look in every store and get like a big soft pretzel.
Okay.
And maybe like try on jewelry and like spray perfume on me and buy like a nice candle and a face mask. Fun. This is what I love. Just a mall wander. Get a good podcast, drive through a pretty neighborhood full of mansions.
What is your like quintessential mall store? What's the ones you're like, oh, I have to go to this store?
Oh, dang. I like the kind of assorted, quirky, just like jewelry and accessories and novelty gifts kind of stores. Like there's ones around here called Attic Salt. There's one box lunch in the area, 2 box lunches. Those are very cool.
I've never heard of either of these.
Yeah, they're fairly new, and like there's just a couple of them that popped up around here. I'd never heard of them before last year, so I don't know where they are in the range of malls. I like to look at clothes, even if it's just a look and dream. I check in a Hot Topic like a couple times a year just to see what the kids are into.
It's Fortnite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I like to walk through a big department store, just like me in the middle of a massive Dillard's.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. So the plan for me tomorrow is actually not too far off from that. I'm planning to go to Target.
Okay, good.
And to get there, I have to take at least 2 different buses. I think if I take the one that's the stop that's near my house, that'll take me downtown. I can take what's called the Pulse, basically a straight shot up Broad Street, and that will take me directly to Target if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so it's a bit of an adventure in that sense.
That is cool.
And I plan to start listening to the podcast stuff, the audio drama that we are going to be covering for the review show, the Hadron Gospel Hour.
Yes.
And put that on, ride the bus, take my time, get to Target, shop around. Maybe I'll get something. I don't know. I have stuff that's like, I kind of need this stuff, but I don't need
It's
it
good to
immediately.
look.
Yeah. So I think I might spend a couple hours just out and about figuring
That's
out
nice.
what to go do, or if I should impulse buy new pillows or some shit at Target.
Oh, pillows, let me tell you, you got to replace them often, and they are cheaper than you think.
Yeah. So I sleep with 4 pillows right now. 2 of them they're the worst. They're flat. The other 2 I haven't had for more than a year. They're still fantastic.
Yeah.
But to like even it out, I pair it. It's like the perfect size of like neck propping up. If I couple a good one with a bad one, it's like the perfect size. So that's what I have right now. But eventually, I'm gonna have to filter out those bad ones. So maybe pillows, but I'm also gonna have to. I think my camera just got more saturated. That just me?
Maybe you do look slightly redder.
Well, so you're looking at me through this camera, Melissa, which is the one that's built in on my computer, and everyone else is looking at my webcam. But just a bit ago, I felt like it was a little more washed out. Anyways, I changed this light to red, which Melissa, you already knew. It used to be salmon, is what the app called it. But yeah. So if I go to Target and buy a bunch of stuff, I'm also gonna have to carry it all back with me.
Yep.
Because I mean, I guess I could call an Uber, but I don't really want to spend more if I have a free bus pass that I can use thanks to my job. So it's just like, maybe I'll get some new bed sheets. Maybe I'll get a pair of shorts because it's the summer.
Are nice.
And just
they're good treats.
Yeah, new towels.
I did that recently. It was great. Towels, good quality towels are like $6. These are things I'm just now learning because like I would never buy these myself as a child. Even like when I'm going off to college, I think my parents went with me to get me everything, or my aunt got it for me for graduation or something. So now I'm like, okay, time to replace my old towels from college. How much are towels?
It's one of those like unspoken first adult things I feel like people do is like buy more towels and buy new pillows.
Yes.
It's just like, I could be comfier in my bed. You know what? I've had the same raggedy ass towel since high school, and I'm an adult now. I shouldn't be. I'm out of college. I shouldn't be living like this in my own filth.
Treat yourself. Last year, I went out on an adventure. I drove to the Bed Bath & Beyond on the other side of town. What did you make a face at?
My light, it is like, it's still this like, it seems more saturated on stream and it's bothering me.
Your one side of your face is very red.
All right, so I'll change it back to salmon so we can see what that, because I changed it to this red because it seemed a little bit washed out. So that's what I normally have it at.
Ah, yes.
It seems a little bit bright right now, but it's more like
it's bright, but it's
to
more.
You, it's pink on your thing, Melissa. On stream, it's this very, very washed out pink.
Okay, it looks fine to me. The red color like was edging into like Harvey Dent territory. Like it was too harsh on just one side of your face.
You make your own luck, kid. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan for tomorrow, because I've since being in the house, I finished reading about to say Battlestar Galactica, Battle Angel Alita. I've been reading that manga on Comixology. It's been sitting in there for a long time because I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. It's cyberpunk stuff, and then the movie
like that.
came out, and I was like, oh wait, isn't this based off of a manga? And it's been sitting there since, and I was like, I should just finally read that. So I started reading that this week, and I finished it this morning, and then I finished watching season 2 of a Netflix original show called The Mechanism.
I don't know this one.
It's a Brazilian show. It's a Brazilian crime show, based off of a book, which is based off of real events. So it's he said, she said type of thing. But it's a crime show about this guy who like uncovers a bunch of like fraud and money laundering and racketeering, basically all throughout the Brazilian government and oil companies and drug dealers, and it's this big network of stuff, and it's like it's tearing down political parties and their whole economy and all this stuff, and he's just like, well, you all are criminals, so kind of ruining the country, but we'll see what happens on the other end. So it's good. It's fascinating.
Nice. Fascinating, Captain. Yes. I went to the theater again this week. This is your theater update.
Okay. This just in from Melissa with the theater update.
Season so far this year. Guys and Dolls. Great. Kinky Boots. Fantastic. These were shows I was both familiar with. This week I went to see, in honor of our country, 1776.
Okay.
Which is a musical about the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Okay.
Yeah, all them.
Is this based on... No, it's not based off the book. Because isn't there a book of this same name? And it's like a...
I don't know, probably.
I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass here.
This is a musical from the 60s about the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And I'd never seen this one before. And I was expecting something kind of dry, just like kind of a pretty but dense costume drama musical sort of thing. It's a grade A sass fest. It's practically a comedy for most of the time. I was not prepared for this. It's just all the founding fathers just throwing shade at each other. It's such a salty, horny show.
There you go.
Yeah, and like they make Thomas Jefferson write the Declaration. Okay, the first number is basically like, John Adams, shut up and sit down. We don't care what you're saying. God, we're so tired of you. It's so hot here. We hate our jobs. When do we leave?
Just like, oh my God, stop talking.
Yes, that's what the show is. And like they make it's John Adams that wants to write the Declaration of Independence, and this is exactly what they say. You are obnoxious and disliked. Like, everybody agrees on this. Nobody actually likes you, John Adams. So, like, if you write this thing, nobody's supporting it. People like Jefferson, okay, we'll make Jefferson write it. And Jefferson's like, I was going to go home this weekend to see my wife, who I haven't seen in 6 months. And now I have to sit here and write this. So they make him stay there and write it. And then I think it's like Ben Franklin or somebody. It's like, okay, you're doing a bad job of writing this. I brought your wife to you. And she runs on stage and they make out for like a couple solid minutes. While Ben Franklin and John Adams are standing back there like, hello, ma'am. It's me, Ben Franklin, inventor of the stove.
And the Farmer's Almanac.
Heard of it? Yeah, and he just goes and just bones his wife.
Geez, that went over much better in France.
Exactly. He goes and bones his wife for like a day, and they're supposed to go get him the next morning, and they're looking up at the shutters of the house, and they're like, it's pretty late in the morning, and the shutters are still closed. So they're in there boning, and we're just standing out here in the street waiting for them to finish boning. This is weird and we should leave.
You guys want any condoms? Snacks?
In America happens out of this. It's wild.
And this is how America was born.
It's not quite so like comedic or bawdy as something like a funny thing happened on the way to the forum, but it's so much more than what I was expecting. It was
I
absolutely
mean, you
delightful.
kind of have to do it that way for a musical about sweaty old white men in a room signing a piece of paper.
Yeah, for this to be done 100% seriously, boy, I would not like to watch like the
Awful.
Les Mis version of this,
The
where it is
awful.
more
No,
dry, dramatic, and historical.
I do remember there was an old I think it was HBO that did a like
The
a
John
six.
Adams miniseries starring Paul Giamatti.
It may be that
Yes,
it
that's
might have
it.
been that one. I remember watching that with my family when that was coming out, and I think we liked it, but I was too young to like ultimately care
Yeah,
or have it stick. But yeah, I that was serious
yeah.
and straight laced.
Oh, I'd consider going back to it now. I think it's something I remember people loving back at the time. And now that I'm an adult and I'm mildly palatable to such things,
And I've bought new towels.
yeah, I'm drinking a wine right now. I'm drinking it out of a collectible Shrek the Third glass, but it's wine like adults drink.
I have my Justice League cup from the
They're
dollar
all
store.
they're all adults. I don't know how old Shrek is. Is
Shrek is getting up there now. He can almost
Shrek
go to college. He can almost start drinking himself.
not as a film, but as a man? Is Shrek older or younger than Batman?
Shrek the Man. It's like what's that? What's the
Poor
musician's name?
Man.
Yeah. that's gonna be the name of our new band, Shrek the Man.
Okay, let's say Ben Affleck Batman. Is Shrek older or younger than Ben Affleck Batman as a man?
I I want to say they're classmate, like they're neck and neck.
Classmates.
You know what I mean? Like that,
Like they are peers in a general sense. They are contemporaries, or are they literal classmates? 'Cause
oh, they
this
went to the same school together. They had third period English. No, I just meant like same same age is what I meant.
Gotham High, but Shrek is also there.
So, so there was a comic that I really liked called Gotham Academy.
Oh, that's what it is. Yes.
And it was basically Harry Potter but set in Gotham.
Yes.
It was fantastic. It didn't last long enough, but yeah, there's like a bunch of kids all going to Gotham Academy. Some of them are on scholarship from Bruce Wayne. And one of the students has like connections to the Arkham family and all that stuff, and what's his name, Killer Karak shows up. He's in the like sewage pipes underneath the school.
Where else
so
would he be?
yeah, is Shrek the Man is that how they made fun of Croc? Just like, hey there, Shrek. Like
I'll bet, yeah. Dang, that's gonna be coming for us. If Tony Stark can call Thanos Grimace,
yeah.
this is next.
Yeah.
For us as a world.
Yeah. Yeah, when Spider-Man fights Green Goblin or something, he's gonna be like, "All right, slow down there, Shrek," you know.
Oh no! Oh man! But okay, so when Shrek came out, the Peter Parker we know now must have been -2.
As in, what's his name? The guy that's in there now, Tom Holland.
Like not him, the man, but this Peter, this Petey boy. If he's 16, oh no, well he's 16 after the snap. Hold on, my math is wrong.
So he would have been
Okay.
born like 2000. Well, so
Wait, no.
2000,
The snap happened
2003
in
minus 5 would be 1998.
No, the first one was in 2001.
Right, but if
2001. This is 20.
Peter is 16.
I feel like I'm the meme where
Look,
people just
look.
look into the sky and see a bunch of math. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was making the motions. No, so all right, look, year is 2019 right now. Peter is quote unquote 16. So
He's clearly a
if
man.
if
but
math
yes.
was normal, if the blip didn't happen, he would have
Okay.
been born in 2003. But there was the time jump. There was that 5-year time jump which he missed because he was
Yes.
dead. So he would have been born 1998. Is that right? Or does it work the opposite way where he was born in like 2008?
I need to change shirts, get a shirt with a collar and sleeves, roll the sleeves up, then get a chalkboard.
But it's like this, okay? Crazy conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Who knows? Spoilers for Infinity War, I guess, and Endgame. But yeah, that I don't know. I don't know how math works. That's why I'm an art student.
So I am drinking wine, not just for funsies, but also kind of for practical reasons.
Okay.
I come home on Monday after work and there's a sign on the door saying, "Hey, there was a water main break. Y'all are under a boil order for like the next 48 hours.
Oh no, that sucks.
Boil all your water for a while." I'm like, okay, that's rough, but I got water to boil. I have a stove. I have receptacles to put the water in. I had some bottled water to begin with. It's all
Sure.
be okay. Later that night, around 10 o'clock, the water is gone altogether. I wake up the next morning.
How did it go? So were you like not rationing it out?
No.
Did you think it would be fixed overnight? And you're like, I have enough to last me tonight and the next day, or
Well, they didn't say, "Hey, the water, there isn't going to be any." They just said, "Hey, what you're going to get is you should boil it. You should boil it first."
Okay,
But then later that
understand
night, yes, there was no water out of nowhere. And I wake up the next morning and there's still no water.
Ooh,
And I get home from work the next day and there's still no water. And this was the night I went out to the theater. And that's like, it's an outdoor theater, so the show starts at 8:15, to line up with sunset. It's a long show. I have to, get the traffic out of there. I get home at midnight.
Yeah.
There's still no water. I'm just greasy and sweaty from being outside. So I call my mom and I'm like, "Hey, I know it is midnight. Can I drive to your house and take a shower there?"
Yeah.
Then I have to pack up my stuff. I have to stop in like a quick trip on the drive there to see if they have more water that I can buy because I needed more. They didn't have like the size I was. They had like legit spring water, and I'm like, I'm not that fancy. I'm not spending money on this. Do you have just like water, like plain water? And they didn't. They just had elite water from a spring. But while I'm in there, it's nighttime, it's eerie. There's like some alarm going off in the store at some constant rate. Like somebody like hit the emergency exit only door and like
Oh,
nobody
no.
totally closed it. It was weird. And I finally get to my parents' house and I take a shower and then I'm like, "Oh, it's the middle of the night. I ate dinner like 8 hours ago. I'm hungry." And my mom's awake. So we just stayed up and we ate snacks and we watched Antiques Roadshow for a while.
Yes.
Like
Good
parents
stuff.
do. Retired parents with nowhere to be. My mom had just retired on Monday.
Oh,
Congratulations,
nice.
Mom.
Congratulations to her, indeed.
So she's got nowhere to be. She can stay up until like,
Party
1,
animal.
1:30 in the morning, just eating chips with me and watching Antiques Roadshow. And then I finally get home and I don't go to bed till like 2:30 or something wild. So that happened to me this week.
That's about par for the course for me.
But then when I get home, then finally the water's back on. But nobody has told me if I have to stop boiling it yet.
Yeah.
I don't, like, it was gone for like 28 dang hours. Like, I don't know if that has extended the initial 48-hour boil order or what. So I don't know. So
Interesting.
anyway, that's why I'm drinking wine, because I don't have to boil that.
It's all I have left.
It's me
Which,
and my wine.
side note, that's one of the things that I don't get in post-apocalyptic shows, especially like The Walking Dead. I
Oh,
mentioned
why? Like nobody's just kind of
last week.
boozed up all the time?
Well, so in here it's been in the Walking Dead shows because I just got done watching those, and I mentioned it last week. That I've been watching those, but in some of the more recent seasons of The Walking Dead, there's a character. I guess in the most recent one that's on Netflix right now, there was a character in there who was eating Twizzlers. And it's been a couple years since everything went to shit. No one's been making any new Twizzlers. Like there's not a Twizzler factory that is still operational in the midst of the zombie apocalypse.
Imagine if that was what somebody was like, we need this to carry through.
It used to be Twinkies. You remember that? Like
yes.
In fact, was it The Simpsons that had something like that? It was one of those shows like Family Guy or Simpsons that had an episode about that, where like
that's a big plot point in Zombieland, isn't it?
Yeah, that too. And like I feel like right around Y2K, right around the year 2000, when we didn't know if we were gonna make it into like that was the thing. That because then after that,
make it to see Shrek.
Because if we made it past that, it was like, well, then the Mayan calendar ends in the next like 6 years, so who knows?
12 years.
Yeah, so it's just like it's just gonna be one apocalypse after the next, you know. And it was always Twinkies don't expire. That's gonna be the one food we should stock up on. But I like this one girl was eating Twizzlers, and I was like that. I feel like those expired a year and a half ago. Like, how can you eat that? Like, that's disgusting to me. And then in Fear the Walking Dead, there is a character who, yes, is a bit of an alcoholic. And whenever he can find alcohol, he drinks this alcohol. But they're often, like, seen as dehydrated or in a position where water is very, very scarce. And alcohol dehydrates you more. So like but they don't address that, or that if he is drinking this, then he should be consuming more water than the rest of them just to stay even to where they're at.
It's good for your mouth only, and I don't think the rest of your body. This is true.
I just like that like I understand people have their vices and stuff like that, but just I feel like that would be the occasion. If the world ended, that would be the time to rethink and reevaluate. And it will. I mean, I guess often times when he is seen drinking, he does get into his more like, the world's gone to shit. Who fucking cares? We're not gonna, we're not gonna be here. Blah 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 blah. But like they always end up wanting to survive. If you know what I mean? They're like, oh, you're right. Maybe we should carry on, and we have to work towards a new goal. We can rebuild. And
yes,
but like I can see wanting to work to the point where you can make alcohol again, but just to be consuming it willy-nilly, it's like you're kind of doing yourself a disservice here.
And save it
if you want to survive.
It for the next generation. Like, I want my children to taste Moscato.
Sure.
They can't do that if I drink all the Moscato now.
Though, funny enough, that is also one of the plot points in Fear the Walking Dead that's on here. They find a character who is a brewer. He makes alcohol. He's like, I still have all of my stuff. I can still make it all for you guys. Like, I have a recipe, and if you know how to make this stuff, you guys can keep making alcohol. So they're like, that's actually kind of valuable. We want that recipe.
Yeah, and there's no way to like. There is not a homemade artisanal Twizzlers. So yeah, I don't know if where Twizzler Girl's getting the Twizzlers at. They gotta be old. They gotta be stale.
Yeah. And I feel like you wouldn't, like, if you're putting stale or expired food inside your stomach, probably not good coming out the other end either, you know?
But I mean, if zombies are chasing you, what are you gonna do?
And no one's making more toilet paper either, so it's a
no.
double, like, this is the worst. Don't do that to yourself, people. Come on.
This is why like dystopias and like post-apocalyptic stories and zombies, like, they're not a good time for me.
It's stuff like that. It just doesn't make sense, or like why all the guys don't have like big bushy beards, or like why the girls like have all their hairy legs and stuff. It's like that. No one's making new razors. No one. You can keep it for about a month. There's another character in Fear the Walking Dead who has like the perfect haircut, and it's shaped up nice, and it looks pristine. There's product in the hair, and she's like, that. Where are you finding this? Why are you wasting space in your backpack for all of this? Yeah, I don't know. That stuff, it bothers me. It's so nitpicky. But it's just, that. It's just like, why do that? Oh well. So your water stuff is fixed now, though.
I have water. Nobody's told me if I can drink it straight yet or not.
Do you live in like a complex of apartments and stuff like that? Do you have like a building manager or something you could ask?
Somewhere. I'm gonna go by there tomorrow because I also have to ask for a smoke alarm battery. I just pointed at the smoke alarm for only you to see and the audience to hear.
Yep. Podcasting is a visual medium, though we do have a YouTube version of this. You guys can go watch on YouTube. You can watch us live on Twitch every Friday evening, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're here. We're live.
It's us.
Twitch.tv/the Whatnauts or the whatnauts.com/livestreams.
Kyle, I have a question for you.
Ask away, Melissa.
What is your preferred movie theater candy? Because I was in a situation this week. We went to go see Spider-Man, and this was the day after I hadn't gotten to bed till like 2:30. So I was really tired. I drank like a giant coffee that day, but I'm like, I have to be energized for Spider-Man. And the movie itself did it for me. Nice. But beforehand, I was like, I gotta just buy candy and stuff it in my purse so that I have like something to keep myself like active during this film if I need it. And I'm like, what? I have not bought candy for a movie in a long time. Like, what do I get? What do I like?
I used to it used to be Twizzlers.
Twizzlers are good. I almost bought Twizzlers.
And hello to Orange Moose, who is in the chat.
Hello, friend.
They say greetings from Alabama.
Oh, man. I know a dude from Alabama who's very, very nice.
There you go.
I hope you were also as nice.
But yeah, so it used to be Twizzlers. That's a good like munch at your own pace kind of candy.
Yeah, it doesn't melt.
More recently, I've been getting the Bunch of Crunch.
Bunch of Crunch are good. Nice option.
Good. Yeah, and I'm usually very disciplined, and I won't start the candy or my soda until the movie starts, or at least until the like previews start. But Maria Menounos is not getting to watch me eat. Mm-mm.
Not for you, Maria.
No.
For a studly blonde Chris only.
Exactly.
Whichever one it may be.
Only for America's ass.
I ended up getting peanut butter M&Ms.
Oh, nice.
I love peanut butter. I've not had these M&Ms specifically in quite some time. Although I remember loving the heck out of them in like high school, where you'd have a little candy cart you could go get something from during lunch.
You guys had the peanut butter M&Ms, or was it the Reese's Pieces that you had?
No, we had peanut butter M&Ms. We also had Take Fives and
Okay.
Kissables.
I don't know Kissables.
It was like little Hershey. It's M&Ms, but they're made from the Hershey's company. So they're like the shape Hershey's Kisses, but they're very small, and they have the same
Huh.
like candy, like colorful candy coating like an M&M
Maybe I've
has.
seen
But
them.
they were so much better because like the candy on them was a little bit thicker, so it had a little bit more of like a
Okay.
crunch to it. It was more textural.
Oh,
Kissables were good.
you just reminded me. Speaking of
Uh-huh.
M&Ms, so I when I go to the store, I usually get some kind of candy to munch on throughout the
Nice.
evenings and stuff like that. And caramel M&Ms is usually one of the things that I get. However, there was
Yes.
once that I saw they had it's basically their like thin mint version.
Okay.
It was their crispy M&Ms, but with mint chocolate
Mhm.
in it, and it was amazing. It was so good,
Ah,
and then I never saw them again. It was only that
nice.
once, and so I was like, am I imagining things? Did I just get the crispy ones? Did I just get the mint ones? I I don't know, but I think it was a couple months ago, um, that I was just like I swore they're real. I know they are. So I looked
Yeah.
them up, and apparently they are a real thing. You can get them like the crispy mint ones, and they sell them at Target. So if
Go.
everything goes
Go.
according to plan tomorrow, like I mentioned at the start of this, and I'm at Target tomorrow, they might have them there. In which case, I will absolutely get myself some crispy mint chocolate M&Ms because they were fantastic.
Dang, that sounds good. I bought a new candy recently. I'm trying to tempt a new roommate to joining me at this apartment. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm making it clean and neat and organized and decorated. And one of these included having a small candy bowl on the coffee table because I
That'll
know that
do
would
it.
entice me. So I got these little packages of their Reese's cups, but they're dark chocolate and they're thin.
Mm-hmm.
They're Reese's Thins.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of those.
They're very
I
good.
don't think I've seen them.
They're very good. Something
Perfect.
about just changing the aspect ratio of the chocolate and the peanut butter together does it.
So, I mention on here all the time that I'm a big kind of funny fan, and
Yes.
I like a lot of their content. And Orange Moose, is that the oh yeah, jalapeno M&Ms at
Oh,
Walmart?
those things.
Yeah, I've never heard of those. Interesting.
They had a series of r- international flavors, and I feel like
Okay.
some countries was like a jalapeno one, and
I've
then like for
seen
England it
jalapeno
was like
chocolate.
toffee.
Like I've
Yes.
seen that. Yeah, I've seen that stuff. But all right, so I was mentioning kind of funny, and I like a lot of their content. And one of the shows they do is KF AF, and they
Mhm.
often do a lot of like blind taste tests, and
Yes.
they'll rank all of the stuff like which Pop Tarts flavor is this? How does it rank against the next one? You know, all that stuff. And they got Gureg to sit down and do a bunch of blind uh, taste tests for Oreos. And he, when he was still at IGN, he started a show called Oreo Oration, in which he would just review different Oreos and stuff. And so
Yes.
he knows all of this stuff, and he would, without even tasting it, know exactly what one he had in his hand. He goes, all right, it's about this thick, so it's about, it's probably not the double stuffed ones. It's going to be the regular, and it smells like
Wow.
chocolate, so it's probably going to
Wow.
be that one with the, yeah. And it's just like, they're like, how do you know this stuff? You haven't
Wow.
even tasted it.
Man, if I train myself, I could do that.
Ridiculous.
I could turn this apartment into an Oreo dojo.
Hell yeah. Hell
Get an
yeah.
Oreo sensei.
Oreo sensei.
I like this new Karate Kid where he's just training to be in an eating competition and not actually fight.
Yeah. Well, we did. I think it was this time last year. We read the manga Chowdown Champs for an episode of the review show.
It's such a goofy, light, fluffy, harmless good time. It's just
so
boys
funny.
eating rice.
It's so much fun though. It was terribly written, but it was so much fun.
That was a good one. That is a fond memory.
It was. So speaking of episodes of the review show, which you can go search the Whatnauts, and you can find all of our podcasts wherever you get your podcast, or just the whatnauts.com. Melissa, a couple weeks ago, I had noted that we had finally, like, we had done, I forget how many exactly I said. I think we had done over 200, or I had published over 250 episodes of a podcast with the Whatnauts. We've done some changing and some growing there, so not all of our shows have that many episodes. But I thought that we had done like just over 100 or 150 of stuff like since we relaunched. I don't remember
probably
now. But you were wanting to know how many episodes you had been on.
Me
specifically. So I looked it up and I did some math. To date, you have been on 59 episodes of the review show. That'll become 60 this weekend when we record the new one of that. You have been on 34, not including this one, episodes of the Captain's Log, and you have been on 10 episodes of the Reactor Core, totaling out to 103, not counting the ones we're about to do. So you've been on 103 podcasts with us here at the Whatnauts. That's a lot.
That's more than anything else I've ever done, maybe.
Yeah.
I've never done 103 of something.
And if we go for at least, we normally go for around an hour and a half on stuff. But if we just, there's you have like 150 hours of you talking out there, or us talking.
This is my legacy.
There you go. Yeah.
This is great. I often think about, like, what if I just had more recordings of, like, my grandparents or something? Now, for the future. It's going to be
so weird, when we're like 60, 70 years old and these are just out there on the internet and be like, what was I doing when I was 28 years old?
Could you imagine? We're in a nursing home and our nurse plays for us. Like, you feel nostalgic today, Kyle?
It was that game that they played, the fort fight or whatever it was.
Kyle, I'm gonna play you your old podcasts, Kyle.
Oh God, what a nightmare! No, no.
Kyle, this is the first time I'm considering an old man named Kyle.
Have you never met an old man named Kyle?
No, that's a young man's name. I think when you turn
do I have to change my name at a certain age?
To like Kenneth or something.
Kenneth.
This is something I occasionally think about. Like, my grandma lived in a nursing home full of people with old person names. You know, like Lynn and Huey and Margaret.
I don't feel like Huey's an old person name.
Like, that's a historic name. That's the name a boy in like 1930 would have.
I just think of the Boondocks.
Name an old man has now.
I think of Boondocks. Like old names. I think of like Edith.
Yeah, there was absolutely an Edith, I'm sure.
Stuff like, I mean, not that it's necessarily uncommon to still be named that, but it's weird that like our generation thinks certain names are like older names.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so weird to see, like, yeah, when we're old, like what names, like, oh, you're an Edith, you're a Tom. Jeez, sucks
But
for you, man.
they're coming back around though. Old person names. Like my niece's name is Beatrice.
Yeah, uh, who knows? Names are gonna be so weird when we're all
We've adjusted.
cyborgs and stuff like that.
So your name will be like Kyle 23.
Sure, yeah.
Like we've adjusted to kids having old person names, but we've yet to prepare ourselves for old people having kid names like Kyle.
So when my first apartment, when I moved into college, I was still super involved in my church at the time, and I'm no longer religious. But I, instead of staying at the dorms with my school, which I didn't really want to do, I was like, hey, people at my church, are there other like college students who go to the church there that have an apartment? Can I live with them? And yeah, it turns out one of them was moving out, and there was a space there, so I got to stay with a bunch of guys that went to my church. And I think last week I mentioned Sung. He was my first roommate. He was one of those guys. But funny enough, the guy that was moving out of that apartment, his name was also Kyle. So I was moving in, and I was like, I'm Kyle 2.0. I'm better in every way.
In my work, I was hired first. Then some months afterwards, they hired another Melissa.
Okay.
This Melissa was a manager starting out. I mean, not a manager of other people, but like she had her own things, and I was still the assistant. And then she left, and that's when I was promoted to having my own things. I got her old stuff. So for a long time, I had to explain to all of these editors, like, no, I'm different, Melissa. I know they just switched from one Melissa to another. That's not my last name. No, I didn't get married or divorced or something. I'm a completely separate Melissa. And this happened, I got all of her stuff last February when Black Panther came out, to put this in your mind. Now, this week, I just got another, like, for the first time in like a year, somebody emails me like, Melissa Orschlin. I'm like, no, she's gone. She left it.
Congratulations on the name change.
No, I'm me. I've always been me.
I'm still me. Yeah, that's funny. Kyle's not it's a common name, but it's not common enough that I've really dealt with, and like I haven't run in, like, it's not that Spider-Man meme where I'm just like, it's you. Yeah, like no, I think there was one other person named Kyle in my high school, and it was a girl. So it was like, oh, are you the girl, Kyle? Are you the? And like, it was just like, yeah, that was it. But
the editors is a girl, Kyle.
We also didn't talk. Like, we weren't in the same friends group, so like we never interacted like at all. So maybe we were the same person. Never saw us in the same rooms. Haha. No, I don't feel like I've ever run into that kind of problem very often, where it's like, there's multiple Kyles, oh my god. Except for me being Kyle 2.0.
The only one.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was looking up that stuff. I didn't look exactly how I feel, because I've been on them all. So I've been on like 200 or 300 episodes.
Kyle,
however much
we're gonna see you
published,
not be somewhere.
That was my goal for this year, in our 3-year retrospective. I was like, it'd be really nice to not be on an episode. Just some podcast that we do with the Whatnauts, whether it's this, it's the captain's log, or if it's the review show or something else. Just like, it'd be nice to just not be on an episode.
That is That'd be cool. Not
Yeah.
like, yes, get rid of him.
But just
More
just like,
time
hey,
space.
I have other
But like,
people to keep it going.
yeah,
That'd be
it
nice.
would be fun to just play around with the format.
I have realized though that a lot of that is almost not it's not impossible, but it's not happening right now because of things that I can't control. It's not like I have yet to train you up to be a blah blah blah. You know,
I haven't earned my black belt yet.
It's not that. It's more of just like I run all the streams and I do all the editing and all of that
like
stuff on my stuff, and my computer's a piece of shit, so it barely, gets the job
Yeah, my
done.
computer could not do what you're doing.
Exactly. So like it's dependent on you having a better computer and me teaching you how to do all the like live stream stuff. And that's not something I could ask of you. It'd be like, I need you to spend like $1,000 and buy a new computer and do all of that. It's like no.
These are goals. Like
one day when you get that, I'll be like, haha, peace out, bitches.
Now I leave. Now I'm gonna read comics and not talk to you about them.
I'm gonna talk to no one. Be over here in my little corner.
Life just continues as normal. You just don't record what you just did.
Yeah, I'll be talking to no one. So in this book, what did you think? And there's no one there.
There's a broom with a wig on.
Exactly. Exactly. But speaking of stuff that we had been kind of talking about in previous episodes, you asked me what my favorite robots are.
That's
and
right.
I don't remember if it came up naturally or if you were actually like that was a thing we were wanting to.
No, like you just mentioned robots and I just threw a question at you.
So I started to think, but I was on this spot, and it's always very difficult to be like, oh man, now I have to think about all of the darn robot anime that I've watched, and I don't know, man. And so I've finally got to sit down and look through some stuff, and I actually have 6 of them. Because you asked me what my favorite big robots were and my favorite small robots were. Which when you initially asked me that, I wasn't even thinking about. I went straight to like giant robot. It's a Gundam, So I'm gonna start out with the small ones.
Okay.
And I think I had it on there. You can't not put R2-D2 up there. Mm-hmm. You have to have him. He's the best. He's sassy. He's in there with all the Star Wars stuff. I feel like he's one of the main through lines.
Yeah.
In a lot of the stuff because he's in the cartoons.
Boyfriend.
Yeah. Well, I mean they're not dating, but sure. Were we asking like how do robots date in our Transformers episode for the review show?
I firmly believe that by this point in time, R2-D2 and C-3PO are common law husbands.
That would make sense. But yeah, so I put R2-D2. We also had the whole thing of just how the fuck did we forget Wally? We spent like half an hour talking about
I don't remember what I was talking about after that, but it was something kind of mundane where like partway through it, I'm like, is this anecdote even worth it? And then you shouted in the middle
out of nowhere.
We forgot Wally.
So my number 2 is we have to put Wally on there. He's such a good boy. He's a good one. However, my third one is maybe the one you haven't heard of. It's Haro from a lot of the Gundam series. He's in Mobile Suit Gundam.
Like a floating green orb, got kind of like wing sort of things coming out of him.
Yeah, It's not really wings. The reason why I put him on here is because he's not really. He is a robot, but he's not. He's actually a toy.
Okay.
Like he's a fucking Furby in space. but he's not furry. Like he's meant to just be this toy because a lot like one of the tropes of like mecha anime is that usually the pilots are young children that get caught up in this like giant intergalactic
like toy
war.
Age.
Yeah, and I think Amuro Ray, when he pilots the Gundam, he's like 12 or 13. And I think the youngest protagonist that has ever piloted a Gundam I think was it from Victory Gundam? I don't remember, but I think he was like 8 years old. Yeah, and he's an 8-year-old and he's out in space killing people. I mean,
Anakin Skywalker did it.
I mean, yeah, but not to the same extent, right? This is like, what if Anakin Skywalker gets a hold of like a star destroyer and he just goes out there like destroying a bunch of things. But yeah, so it's always this thing of like this kid having this naive like view and opinion of war and stuff like that. And so here is this kid who's out in space, gets caught up in his war, and he's just sitting there with his toy. And it's so Haro is my number 3 small robot because he gets it's a fucking toy. He's not even supposed to be there.
I like this. Yes.
So for big robots, you probably saw this coming, but the first one I had to put on there was Gundam RX-78-2, which is the original Gundam. It's not the best design. The original show came out in. I guess it's based off of a manga, but the original anime was out in '79. Yes. So it's very boxy. It's very clunky. And they've had a lot better ones. Gundam RX-78-2.
Real boxy boy.
Yeah, but there's something just about that simplicity though.
That he's samurai things that coming out of his head.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Because he does have a sword that he can pull out. He has this like beam saber.
I'm sorry. So Japan, they designed these giant mecha suits to look vaguely like a samurai.
Sure. That's what Darth Vader is also based off of too.
Could you imagine if America built a giant mech suit that looked vaguely like a cowboy?
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like that Neon Man in Vegas if he was big.
I feel like I can kind of see it. I feel like it would be more. It's only the hat shape though. It'd be like the design of the head, and I think that'd be a terrible design.
Yeah, like it's awful, which is why it's good.
It wouldn't be good at all. But I'm
just a robot wearing a big cowboy hat. And the cowboy, what if he takes it off and it's got blades?
Like Odd Job from the old James Bond, he just tosses his hat.
Like that, yeah.
And on the bottom of his foot, it says Andy.
Yes.
No, like the thing that I think would be interesting about that is a lot of these giant mech suits, like have weapons built into them or are modular in some way, where it's like, oh, the core of this thing is actually a fighter plane, and that's what the pilot gets in, and if it's attached to this thing, then it's a big mobile suit type of thing, you know. So the interesting thing I could see would be like the detachable gun, like the gun on a belt on
cool.
stuff like that, and he would
Yeah.
like hang it up as he goes into the big mothership, or you
Hang it
know.
up. He's so big he can hang it up on a tree. On the
Yeah,
top of a tree or a
there you go.
mountain, a mesa.
Like I think something like that would be interesting.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think it'd just be an awful design. I mean, it'd be humanoid. It'd just be just this odd like brim, like old school like spaceship, just like saucer with I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It's dumb.
It have big legs like it's wearing chaps, just big thick legs.
Imagine the fringe.
The fringe is all lasers.
It's like neon ropes.
Who do we have to talk to
Laser
get
ropes.
cowboy mech made?
There has to be one out there. I don't know, man. So that first one is the first big boy that I had to put on there, and he's piloted by Amuro Ray. The next one is Big O.
Yes.
I had to put Big O on there because it's an even worse design. And it's so good, but it's also more like meant to be more of this like statuesque kaiju, like almost godlike
yeah, it's
and
supposed to look like Art Deco architecture. It looks like a building that just came to life.
It's not this like Greek god, real sleek design. It's huge, it's clunky, but it's not boxy either. There's curves to it. There's these weird spade like I guess spade, or what's the New Orleans Saints logo? What's that?
Fleur-de-lis.
Yeah, that one.
Yes.
Like it has that type of stuff to the design, like those weird. It's just like, why is that a thing? But yeah, it has this like awe-inspiring kaiju like just what's that thing?
Yeah.
And that is piloted by Roger Smith. Big O, the anime. That was a good one.
Highly recommended. One of my faves.
Yes. And so this one, I kind of debated what to put as my third one. And by the way, all of these aren't in a specific order of these are my favorite or anything like that. It's just like, I think these are my top three. I don't know which one is first, which one's second. But the third one that I have on here, the third one I wrote down was the Guard Type 17, which is Sugimori from Knights of Sidonia. You can look up Sugimori.
I dropped my phone, but I can.
TSU.
Guard Type 17?
Or you can look up Sugimori from Knights of Sidonia. That's TSUGUMORI.
Well, I googled Guard Type 17, and I'm just getting pictures of screws. This is some
Is that Google's way of saying screw you? I don't know what you're talking about.
What an abstract insult, Google. No, this is apparently a designation for a screw.
Look up Knights of Sidonia, KNIGHTS of Sidonia, SID, Sidon, ONIOA.
CY or SY?
SI. DONIA.
Okay.
Knights of Sidonia, and the mech's name is Sugimori. TSUGUMORI. Sugimori. You'll see pictures there. But I really like this one almost for the opposite reasons of the other two. This is such a sleek, minimal design.
Yes.
And it's
all white almost.
It's almost all white. The weapon that it has basically just looks like this extra long rectangular prism like thing. Like, yeah, it just like there's something almost futuristic
Yes.
to it, and the like head portion of the mech doesn't actually look like a humanoid face type of thing, right? That both the Gundam and Big O have. It looks more like a robot. It looks more like something that
like
Boston Dynamics would make.
It looks like those Roger droids from Star Wars.
Yeah. So I like that one because that one looks the most cyberpunk to me of this like futuristic robot looking thing that could be neat. So there you go. Those are my favorite 3 little robots, and my favorite 3 big old robots.
Big boys. That's a good list.
Yeah.
I forgot to think about robots anymore.
That's okay. I think about them all the time.
I believe you.
Yeah. I know you do. Yeah, just all sorts of stuff. Let's see, what else is on our list?
I got a story if you want to buckle in for a story time.
Can I say one more quick thing before we do the story?
Yes.
Speaking of anime stuff, there's gonna be new Akira.
Is this a new film or a show?
They said in anime form, but it apparently I'm now starting to see retractions of like, well, they didn't exactly specify if it's going to be a show or if it's going to be a series of movies or stuff like that. But they said there's going to be a 4K remaster of Akira, which is going to be fantastic because that movie is amazing. But then, yes, the original creator is back on board to help out with a new anime in whatever form that may take that will follow the manga a lot closer.
Okay.
Because there's like 6 or so volumes of the manga, and the movie like apparently barely covered half of like one of the volumes. There's so much that it missed. Yeah, so I'm super stoked about that. I have yet to read the manga, and that's on my list of like, shame on you, Kyle. How have you not read this stuff? So that's all I have to say on that. I'm super excited.
I saw Akira for the first time in its entirety recently, and I got to admit, I spent like an hour and a half just going, when does his arm get weird? I came here for a weird arm, and I don't have it yet.
And I think they also announced I mean, you can get the jacket that he wears and stuff. But I think they announced like an official one, if I'm not
jacket
mistaken, which I would love to have. So that'd be sweet. Look, old man Kyle is gonna be decked out in all sorts of cyberpunk attire. I'm gonna have a robot arm. It's gonna be great.
Like, even if the world isn't cyberpunk,
I am.
Are.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. So that's all I had to say on that because I'm stoked.
Okay. Carl, this is a story I've had in my back pocket for quite some time, and I just got tired of waiting for, we're kind of slow this week, so I'm just gonna, it's happening now. So, Daniel Torrington was the most impressive guy I went to high school with.
Damn, Daniel.
He wasn't like some hunky, super popular big man on campus.
Okay.
He was... or like a crazy genius, but he was just very successful at very many things. Like, you know, he was one of our newspaper like editors. He played in the marching band. He was lead in all of these school plays. He was
an overachiever in everything, like that type of. Okay.
Yeah, he was like the head judge in mock trial. Because
I was gonna say like I was almost that. Like, I was good at all of the stuff that I did, but I never in a million years was an overachiever. I did the bare minimum that I had to do. Once I got done with math, I never suck at math again. My last year in high school was almost all art stuff because
Oh, of
I
course.
worked it out to just like I'm ahead in all of this stuff and I don't have to do it. I'm not gonna do it because fuck you guys.
He was in like all the AP classes. We
Mhm.
only had like one or two classes together, but like he had a legacy you knew. You knew who this man was. And
The legacy of Daniel.
and as far as I know from my limited interactions with him, he was very nice, sort of sweet, down to earth,
Mhm.
really smart, super capable, successful guy. Like he could have gotten a free ride to Yale if he wanted it.
Okay.
Okay. But we were never really friends. And like after high school, he didn't really keep in touch with anybody. So he kind of fell off everybody's radar. And like after high school, like every couple months, somebody would be like, whatever happened to Daniel? What do you think Daniel Torrington is doing right now? So late one night, my friends and I are driving to Wendy's.
Okay.
And we stop at a stoplight. And we just glance over. And in the car stopped in the lane next to us is Daniel
A
Torrington.
wild Daniel appears.
This is the first time any of us have seen him in like 4 years.
That's funny.
And like it's me and these friends, we all went to the same high school. We all graduated different years. I was the only person in Daniel's year. Everybody else was younger. But we're all like we all knew him and we're all so excited. We all screamed, but my windows were up, so it didn't do anything. He didn't notice us. And we keep just driving towards Wendy's and he turns away into the neighborhood and we're all like, ah, ah, ah. It's like seeing a ghost or a celebrity or the ghost of a celebrity.
Had he gained weight? Was he still hot? What was up?
I don't know about his. I wouldn't
Did
call
he
him
look the
hot to
same?
begin with. He looked the same,
Okay.
pretty much the same. You know,
I
maybe.
I'd say he's doing well for himself then if he looks the same.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Maybe slightly stubbly, as a college man may be, and a high school man may not be. So we are shook for the rest of the night. Like, oh my god, he was
Okay.
there. We saw him. He's still real. Weeks later, this is over the summer. This is like the middle of the summer, and like
What year is this again?
this is 2013. So this
Okay.
is I graduated in 2019. This is in 2009. This is 4 years after that. And I'm like out of college. I'm like hunting for my first job. All my friends are younger than me and they're still in high school and they didn't have summer jobs. Like none of us have anything to do. So we're
Mhm.
just, driving to Wendy's at 10 p.m.
Sounds about right.
One day we're hanging out at my house and my mom needed to defrost and clean out the freezer. And she's making everything. She's like pulling out of the freezer. Like, well, I know I gotta make room for stuff. Like, let's just cook everything. And she's like, hey, do you kids want a butter braid?
Okay.
Do you know what a butter braid is?
I don't. I was scared to ask.
It's a pastry. It's a sort of thing you might get from one of those frozen pizza fundraisers that would also have like, and here's your frozen tub of cookie dough to make with your pizza. Some
Okay.
of them, at least the ones around here,
This is a
would
Midwest thing.
probably. It's TJ's Pizza. Do y'all have TJ's Pizza?
Not that I
Okay,
know
well,
of.
maybe it is a Midwest thing then. A butter braid is basically just like a pastry.
Mhm.
It's like a big breakfast pastry, like a Danish, but it's got these like, oh, the dough of it is kind of braided, so it all
Okay.
looks nice. It's like a
Fancy me.
centerpiece for a nice family brunch. So my mom's like, I just cooked the butter braid because it had to be cooked. Like, do you kids want this? And we started talking, like, what if we just took this to somebody? Like, hey, do you want a butter braid? Butter braid free for you.
Please tell me you went and Facebook stalked Daniel, found where he lived, and delivered him a butter braid.
No, we thought about this, but we could not find any information about it. And plus, we're like, this is kind of ridiculous to bring him an entire butter braid. You know what?
Just leave it on his doorstep with a note like, "Ha, we found you."
We did leave something on his doorstep with a note, but it was not the
Goodness.
butter braid. We ended up just eating that ourselves. We made him a mix CD.
Oh goodness.
So we wrote him a letter, and it was like, We miss you. Please don't hide your light away. You're like the pinnacle of North County. This is like sincere emotional letter.
You had so much going for you, Daniel. Don't waste your life.
Oh, and like he's like doing amazing things. We're sure. We just have no idea what they are because he doesn't really talk to anybody anymore. He just kind of
tell us about your exploits.
Yeah, like the guy who was like, "Oh, I'm not a Facebook guy. I'm not a Twitter guy. I'm kind of bad at texting people back." Like, you're just never gonna know what he's up to.
Yeah. Okay.
You just have to wonder forever. And we had this one glimpse, and we're like, "Can we get him back?" So we wrote him this letter, and we we made him a mix CD. This is the contents of that mix CD.
Okay.
Track 1, Evanescence, Bring Me to Life.
Yep. Okay.
Track 2, Future's So Bright I've Gotta Wear Shades. Track 3, the Duran Duran song Notorious. Track 4, Elton John's Daniel.
Sure.
Track 5, Every Time We Touch Dubstep remix by Cascada. Followed by Booty Man by Tim Wilson, Total Eclipse of the Heart, Ghetto Superstar, Hello by Lionel Richie, I Hope You Dance by Leanne Rimes. That song from Pirates of Penzance that goes, I am the very model of a modern major general. That song?
Where have I heard that from?
Oh,
it's in Hamilton. They reference it in Hamilton.
I think they also parodied it on Animaniacs and many other places. You know the modern major general song.
I know it from Hamilton, but that is literally the only thing that I've heard it from. Because you said that, and I was like, where have I heard that before? I don't know. Who knows?
So that's on there, followed by a song from the musical Once Upon a Mattress, where he played the lead. He played the main prince. So it's the opening song that he sang in that, followed by God Must Have Spent a Little More Time on You by NSYNC, King and Lionheart by Of Monsters and Men, the hit song of the summer, Gautier's Somebody That I Used to Know. And finally, so my friend Nick convinced me, you have to put this song on there. You have to put the song in there. It's going to be so funny. It's My Neck, My Back. But
oh my god.
But it is the cover of this song by a man named Richard Cheese, who does like lounge versions of songs. So it's all the songs you know and love, but he's like, it's a suave kind of lounge lizard sound to it. Okay. So it's this guy sort of singing my neck, my back, etc., etc. And then we go to sign our names to the letter, and my two friends are like, no, we don't want to put our names in the letter.
Leave it anonymous.
Like, you're kidding me. I already wrote mine, so now my name is the name on the letter that I'm giving to him with
That's
my
hilarious.
neck, my back on the CD. You've consigned me to this now.
That is amazing.
So I wrote my name, and then I wrote, and two anonymous friends, graduating classes of 11 and 13, it would have been.
That works. That works.
But, like, did he know? Did he think, like, that's a lie? that neck, my back is directly from her to me. So it's the letter, the CD, and a sheet of turkey stickers. They're just stickers of turkeys.
Why?
For Halloween. I don't know. We had these. This is more stuff my mom was cleaning out of the basement.
Did he ever like reach out to thank you? Be like, thanks, I guess, or whatever?
No. What we did was we remembered what kind of neighborhood he turned into when we saw him on our way to Wendy's. And he has a very specific last name. There are not many Torringtons out there. So we looked that up and we found out that's got to be his address. And at this point, it's like 11 p.m. or something. So we go by the house. It's all quiet. And this is like mid-August by this point. So it's kind of ambiguous. Like, is he home? Did he go back to his fancy East Coast law school? Who knows if he's actually here? So in the middle of the night, we left on the doorstep the mix CD, the letter signed only by myself specifically, and the sheet of turkey stickers.
What if that wasn't his house?
I don't know. I don't know.
I kind of like that idea even more, that just some random person got it.
He left it there and never heard another word.
That's so great, though. That's a fantastic story.
Yes. You can see I've been wanting to pull this out for years. This is like one of the greatest achievements of my life that went absolutely nowhere. Like, I don't know if his mom got it and then was like, this is weird. I'm just going to throw this away. Or she gave it to him and he's like, I do not remember this girl, which is entirely possible.
Saw the track list and saw that my back goes, not her. She is not getting with my boy.
we didn't write down the track list. It was a mystery the entire time. He would have had to play through 17 tracks. Well, I guess we put Booty Man there in the middle. That is a little also suggestive.
That's funny.
We have no proof it got to him. We have no proof this got to the Torrington family. And now, like, that was 6 years ago almost, and we still wonder. And
That's
still,
really funny.
We have not heard a single other fact from Daniel Torrington. He didn't keep in touch with anybody. We just have to look him up on LinkedIn like once a year to see where he's at.
Yeah. So speaking of playlists and stuff like that, you made one for the review show last year. I never ended up posting it, and that was my mistake.
I forgot to give you the link. Yeah.
I actually think you did.
Did I?
Like, well, because I loved the idea so much, and it was such a surprise. It was a playlist
like 2 hours before we recorded our retrospective.
So good. Such a great idea. I loved it, and I really want you to keep up the tradition of doing that.
I'm still thinking about it. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, it started with the first thing I recorded, which was Infinity Gauntlet. So the first song on here is Another One Bites the Dust.
Exactly. And like, I think it's hilarious. So when we do our 4-year retrospective, I expect a new playlist based off all of this stuff we covered on the review show.
Yes.
And I will finally post both last year's playlist and this one, and we will have it, if you can have it done almost beforehand so we can post it like as we're recording that, but like it's already up, you can listen to it now. That would be fantastic, because I love that idea.
I love to make a playlist. I have so few occasions to do it.
There you go. Good stuff. Melissa.
Yes.
Let's wrap things up right there for this week.
How can we top this? Yes.
Daniel stole the show.
As he did in every high school play.
Exactly. We'll wrap things up right there for this week. Melissa, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. I posted a pretty rad picture of a sunset, and I know like everybody ever has, but I don't know. Come look at it. I'm proud of it. It's really rad.
Exactly. And I am at Yo Kyle Springer on both Twitter and Instagram. You guys can get updates for this show or any of the podcasts we do at the Whatnauts on Twitter. But before we get out of here, we have last minute housekeeping to do. So we are about to record another Patreon exclusive episode of the review show. Melissa, you're gonna have to remind me the exact, because it's a number. It's like 17,700 and I don't know.
Yes, the name of this kind of multimedia online project you could loosely equivocate to being a webcomic. It is called 17,776. It is a future story, and that is the year it takes place.
Okay. There you go. So we're going to be doing a Patreon exclusive episode on that. I think we're recording it next weekend is when we have the ballpark where it's penciled in. Speaking of the review show, last week we covered some Transformers comics over on the review show. We talked about the Wreckers saga.
Real interesting.
be going to check that out. The first part of that is available on Comixology Unlimited. That's the first 5 issues of The Last Stand of the Wreckers is on there. But coming up on the review show for this next week is the Hadron Gospel Hour. It is an audio drama podcast. It's a sci-fi.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's all sorts of crazy mad scientist stuff that happens in that. So that should be something to look forward to. We're covering season 1, right? Which is the first 9 episodes. Cool.
Found where podcasts are sold.
Exactly. And be sure, if you missed it, go check out last week's episode of the Captain's Log as well. Melissa, you got to talk about your supernatural circus that you went to go.
Yes,
visit.
I saw a man spin plates for like 8 minutes, set to a constant loop of the MC Hammer rap song that played over the end credits of the Addams Family movie.
So strange. So if you guys want to go hear more about that, or me talking about superhero origin stories and a whole bunch of other strange stuff, if you want more shenanigans, go check out last week's episode as well. But we will be back here next week, same bat time, same bat channel. This has been episode 57 of the Captain's Log. We will see you guys next week. Adios.
Bye.
Hey, if you thought my robots were stupid, then let me know in the comments below. That would help us out a ton. Thank you guys for checking out that episode of the Captain's Log. Hope you enjoyed it. Go subscribe to our channel right up there in that corner, and go watch one of our other videos down here. We got a whole ton of them. Where that came from. Adios. Love you, bye.